Oh, welcome back, everyone. It's Monday, and it's actually, you've heard of Casual Fridays, haven't you?
Yeah,
How about Casual Monday?
it is casual, man. You are going
Probably didn't
West
know that
Coast on us.
Oh, hey, it's the least we can do around here. It's summertime.
You know,
All right, the summertime, that means Dr. Paul and I have
in a
been
bathing suit next week.
Oh, yeah, that's maybe you. Oh, maybe we could do it as a fundraiser for Look TV.
All right.
Feel sorry for this guy.
Oh,
All right, believe it or not, we do have some things to talk about today. We've been spending a lot of time on weight loss strategies. And in the course of doing that, and I'm going to ask Dr. Paul just to recap a little bit of that, but we realized that there is a natural way to do it, right, which includes lifestyle and exercise. But a few times over the last couple of weeks, we've mentioned pharmaceuticals and the role that they can play in the same thing. So if you don't mind for our viewers, back up just a little bit and let's talk about what weight loss balance is.
good. So weight loss, we're talking about energy balance.
Right.
So when you think about energy balance, you're talking about food, calories that you eat, and calories that you burn. And so when we talk about weight loss, you try to manipulate one or both of those at the same time. So one would be just eat less. That would be a negative calorie balance.
Decreasing caloric intake.
Decrease caloric intake, eat less. And the other one is increase your energy expenditure, your exercise, your physical activity. So you can do one of those, or in most cases, the most successful weight loss is doing both of those together.
Right. And then when you say, of course, it always caught me, increasing caloric, it's the burn rate, right?
It's burning.
That's the increase.
Yes.
The decrease is managing what you're eating, your lifestyle.
Right.
But the exercise is burning more of whatever calories you take in.
That's right.
That's the ability to burn it. Okay, pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, so pharmaceuticals are
Billion-dollar business.
multi-billion-dollar business,
Right.
yes. And we have two things to think about when we talk about drug use for weight loss, drug therapy interventions. One is kind of the supplement market, and sometimes they have drug components within them, and these things are what we buy over the counter, for example, at a drugstore
Right.
or a supermarket. And then there are those that are prescribed by a physician. And so when we talk about pharmacological interventions, we're talking about both of those kind of interventions. Nutritional supplements that have not necessarily been well tested, by the way, because they're not FDA approved. And that's the real challenge there, because there are so many nutritional supplements and very few have been scientifically documented to be having shown to be effective for weight
Right.
loss.
Now, if I understand you correctly, we're always talking about these one basic foundation pieces, decreasing and increasing,
That's right. Decreasing
Now,
the calories that you're eating,
Right.
consuming, and increasing the calories that
you're
you're
burning.
So
Right.
these drugs attack one of those.
One
two
or both of
processes.
those.
So we have drugs that are drugs that decrease or inhibit the calories that our bodies can absorb and store.
Now, I'm a marketer, I'm
Yeah.
a TV guy. I go into any of the drugstores, rows and rows of muscular built guys, lightning bolts on the side of packages,
Right.
and all this stuff. What's with that stuff?
Yeah, what is with that stuff? Well, that's advertising and marketing.
It is. Good.
There's not a lot of science behind a lot of those.
Yes.
And so in a lot of these drugs that are prescribed, they're to inhibit and decrease a person's drive to want to eat more food. And so they're either stimulants that cause our body to just burn more calories, and they're very dangerous because they also, if it's a stimulant, that means it's also attacking our nervous system and our heart circulation. And so for many of those drugs, they increase your blood pressure and your heart rate. So they're very, very dangerous, those drugs that are attempting to increase the calories that you're burning. Stay away from those.
It would just be my guess. I mean, I know we live in a society where everybody wants immediate results, short attention span. But let's say there are people out there that are doing their best to change their lifestyle, to change their eating habits and whatever, and for whatever reason their metabolism, I think is what you told me once, moves too slow and stuff. But these drugs are prescription drugs that we're talking about here. Can you give us an example in each one of the two categories that we're circling on, decrease caloric intake and increasing the
Energy
burn
expenditure.
rate? Let's go to a prescription drug that would do the first, decrease.
Yeah, decrease somebody's
Your
food intake.
appetite.
Your appetite. Well, in terms of decreasing appetite, one is they don't necessarily decrease. Well, they do decrease appetite, that kind.
Right.
But there's also those that decrease the absorption of your food.
Wow.
Did you want me to name the actual names of them?
Well, I guess I wouldn't,
I didn't want to throw
I have
anybody under the
trouble
bus.
I have trouble with legumes. I mean,
Yeah.
how am I going to make it through this?
I'm somewhat more reluctant to throw out actual brand
Oh, yeah,
labels,
sure, of
but
course.
just know that when a person goes to a healthcare provider, a physician, or whoever they're going to see, and they're making a prescription for them to help them lose weight, they're going to be prescribing drugs that will either inhibit the absorption of food that they've eaten by their body, which is unhealthy because then you run the risk of becoming vitamin and mineral deficient, which is
Wow,
not good.
sure.
Or they can give you a drug that actually causes your brain chemistry to alter, to tell yourself that you're not that hungry. Now you can imagine if you have a drug that's passing through the blood-brain barrier and interacting with that part of your brain to say, hey, I'm not hungry anymore, you can imagine those side effects that would be elicited from something like that. So in both cases,
can't imagine.
you're having, tremendous side effect. And then if you're getting prescription for a drug to help you burn more calories as a stimulant, well then you can imagine, as I've already talked about, the increase
Yes,
in your
and
heart
heart
rate, and
rate
your
and
blood
those
pressure,
kinds of things.
and they cause, just really severe health consequences. So as a last resort, do we want to turn to pharmacological interventions, the absolute
Right.
last resort? And so the bottom line here is that in the furthest case of what you would take for weight loss, that would be your option. Much more likely we would want you to choose a lifestyle intervention. And we haven't even tapped into so many of those healthy, natural, homeopathic, organic type of remedies that we can treat weight loss
Well, that was a
more
nice
effectively.
segue for what we're going to talk about next week. That was
Absolutely.
pretty good there.
Yeah.
You're getting good at this.
You've taught me well.
Oh, thank you.
Come on.
Hey, and one thing, I guess, if you talk about drugs, there is that one drug, caffeine.
Caffeine, the
Right?
most
If your
widely
body can tolerate it.
if your body can tolerate, very good. So that would be classified in that camp of drugs and supplements that increase energy expenditure. That's what caffeine does. And I have to say, I have to be unbiased here and objective in that caffeine is still a fairly prominent and well-tolerated weight loss drug for people who want to lose weight. I just wouldn't advocate it for everybody.
One sidebar, Dr. Paul and I totally agree on this. Doing it through lifestyle, doing it through exercise is so much healthier. And one thing I was just thinking about over the weekend, and I was having like nuts and berries for lunch. I listened to you. It's hard to
You're
believe
dressed like
that,
you were
right?
out in the bush.
Yeah, I was out in the nut and berry country.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, it's also that time of year where a salad feels great.
Yeah.
Where nuts and berries feel great. The weather is warm. It's nice to go swimming. It's great to walk a little extra. So it's built into this time of year. This topic is very interesting, and the timing seems to be great. So look, next week, homeopathic solutions.
For weight loss, right?
Right. And we're going to stick in that one thing you mentioned in passing, which is surgery.
Surgery.
Which I don't really want to spend a lot of time on.
No, we shouldn't, but it's climbing
That's right.
exponentially in terms of an alternative treatment to deal with weight loss, which is
And there
unfortunate.
are dangers in that as well.
There are, oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of dangers. But the focus, homeopathic.
Let's go natural. Au
Yeah,
natural.
good. Au natural. Great.
You might even be wearing less
Almost there.
clothes than you are now.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Paul. And
right,
I'll see you
Jesse.
next week.
Looking forward to it.
Hey, see this interview again? Or if you have a question for Dr. Paul, head to our website, looktvonline.com.